Welcome back at another Talking Technical just for you. I mean, it's not for us, it is for you. So everybody that's just sending in requests, thank you so much. And I'm going to kick off straight away with Babu's request. And he likes the share blue. And he's quite convinced that this share looks attractive. Well, Babu, you're quite right. I mean, I look at this chart and I'm seeing something that I immediately like. And that tells me that there were some shadows here. Just have a look there. There was a tweezer top here. That tweezer top actually told us that we can maybe see a sell-off here. And what happened? The bulls came in. First a hesitant bullish candle, then a beautiful belt outline, then a dragonfly. This tells you that everybody is just buying this in a dip. And what I like about the shares, same thing here. If I look at that, there's the support line. It was first the resistance line. So, my man, if you want to buy the share, and of course, if you are a momentum trader, you will say, I'm going to buy above R5.13. I'm going to make use of a stop loss of 4.79, and my targets will be R5.30, R5.39, and even R5.44. And if that breaks, it can easily take this high or carry right through to get this high at R5.60. I mean, the chart looks okay. It looks like it's coming from a nice bottom. It's a low, a higher low, and the break of a resistance line. That is positive. Well, let's have a look at South32. Knowles is asking about South32. Let's have a look at South32. Well, Knowles, if I look at this chart, it looks like it's trying to find a base here. I mean, we had a sell-off. There's a breakaway gap. Maybe I can give you that gap. That gap is between 45.01 and 45.32. What I don't like here, and remember, last year was a year of commodities, and I know a lot of analysts still believe that we are in a super cycle on the commodities, but that does not mean that the share can maybe have a pullback. Sometimes we make this mistake and we say it is a super cycle, it must just go up. If you talk to some of the great fundamental analysts, they will tell you that even fundamental analysts believe the share needs sometimes to pull back a little bit. Now, what do we see here? We see a left shoulder, we see this head shoulder, and even we see a right shoulder. And if we look at that, while this gap is open, it tells you that the right shoulder will be intact, still below 44.78. While it's below 44.78, the share can easily break down Knowles. And where's my neckline? The neckline sits at R42.22. And where can it go to? I'm going to give you the projection here. That's the conservative target. And then the proper play out to the downside, I do the projection straight away. Usually I just go, I've got quite a few requests. The conservative target will be R40.93. And of course, R38.78. But on the other hand, I mean, remember, this is a momentum market, and everybody will say, no, Frans, you're wrong. This market is going to outperform this year. Nothing can go wrong. Everything is just honky-dory. And they will immediately say, what do we see here? We see a resistance line that's being tested. We're seeing a symmetrical triangle, and a symmetrical triangle is usually a continuation pattern. So I will buy above 43.76, they will say. They will use a stop loss of 41.54. Their first target will be this gap. I gave you that level, and then maybe all the way to 47 Rand to reach the upper target. Remember, this market is actually cut in two. One lot is saying fundamentals is wonderful for the value stocks and they must go up. And then on the other end, fundamentalists say, listen, the commodities got a super cycle with the inflation. We've got so much restraints on the delivery side of commodities. We need commodities, and that's why these things will go higher. So I'm giving you both perspectives here. I'm a little bit nervous because I know commodities rallied much last year. Well, let's have a look at Richemont. I mean, this is one of the top companies in South Africa. Richemont, I mean, top player. What do we see nowadays? We see like it's making a high, double top, coming back. And remember, this share it's a strong player, but on the other hand, what is the important thing here? And who asked about it? Tabu. Tabu, if I look at that, if I look at the share, this little gap, and I'm going to give you the levels now. There you are. Still open, Tabu. Just have a look here. And I will say to myself, while this gap is open, and that gap is between 209 Rand and 98 cents and 206 Rand 99 cents. While this gap is open, we can easily see that Richemont bounces off this line as it did here with a tweezer bottom, and it can go higher. But unfortunately, I will say if you want to buy it, only buy it when this resistance line turns into a support. And that resistance line is sitting at 246.89. But unfortunately, then you've got quite a big stop loss. Your stop loss will be this gap. So for me, it's a little bit big. So if I do buy it there, I'll probably use the middle of this, and that will be 227.92. And look at these shadows around that level. Maybe that is your stop loss. I mean, if it breaks up, it can easily take the share all the way up to 280 Rand. And of course, the share reported some great results the other day, Babu. Well, let's have a look at the Foschini group. And that is Nyati that asked about it. And I just want to see. There you are. There it is. Foschini group. I mean, they're also doing well. Look at this chart. It's trying to find its feet. But what I like about this chart, Nyati, is that if I use this, I draw that in, it gives me a left shoulder, it gives me a head, and maybe it's working on the right shoulder here, but unfortunately, Nyati, my neckline is only here at that level, 136 Rand and 14 cents. So unfortunately, this share needs to break above 136.44 to actually give us a beautiful rally to the top. But I mean, look at your targets. That will be your conservative target. And there's your upper target. When it plays out in full, will be 152. I mean, the chart still looks 100% to me. The only thing is, this is a chart that you need to give some patience. And you need to say, give me a little bit of time. I want you to show to me that you can break this neckline. Unfortunately, if it breaks below this line, 124.05, we can maybe see a sell-off. What's interesting here, our market is, let's call it 600 points from an all-time high. But if you look at some of the counters, they've been sold off for quite a while now. Look at this. I mean, this top company, Foschini, was as high as 166 in June last year, and it's now trading at 129.64. So there's already a significant sell-off here. So maybe the share can bounce. And I think if there's a little bit of sector rotation that will take place, it will probably move out of the commodities and maybe some of the other counters that's been hammered. Let's have a look at Woolies. And Lucky is asking about Woolies. Let's have a look, Woolies. There you are. I mean, this stock looks okay to me. I'm seeing a double bottom. There's a bottom. There's another bottom. Where will this come into play? This double bottom, of course, is a positive formation. It usually triggers a beautiful rally to the top. If you look at this trend line here, it broke it. But it's struggling now, and we can maybe see a tiny little goodbye kiss here. But I would rather stick to my rules. And my rules will say to me, listen, Frans, if you see a double bottom, you need for it to trigger above this level. And strange enough, can you guys see? It actually tried to close this gap. It couldn't do so. So this gap is still open between 55.46 and the low of that candle is 56.50. So it needs to break above this line. It needs to close this gap, give us a nice push to the top, maybe all the way back to that 60 Rand level. So, but again, stop loss a little bit big. If you buy it above that level of 55.46, I will say, where's a nice strong support? That shows like a nice strong support. I will use 50 Rand and 51 as my stop loss, and then it can move up maybe back to 60 Rand. It looks like now that the retailers, they give some nice reversal formations here. The stop loss looks a little bit big. Let's have a look at Southern Food. See if we can get it there. Where does it hide now? Sorry, that's why I cannot find it. It is Sovereign Metals, and that is from Fred. Fred, if I look at this chart, and remember this is listed on the Australian index, what I like about this chart is, look at this. Beautiful double bottom, Fred. It's a nice sell-off that we've seen all the way from 0.70 down to 0.42. But what I will say to myself, I will look at this little line here, because this looks like a V reversal to me, and a V reversal is always a strong reversal. So I will say, nice lower shadow here, confirming that, because this double bottom only comes into play right here at the top. There you are. I mean, by then, I mean the easy money has long been sorted out here. Sorry, I messed up here now. Looks like a V reversal here, and for me, if you look at it above 0.49, let's make it 50 cents. It can easily give us a beautiful rally, but what I will use is, I will use, there you are, I will use 0.4242 Australian cents as my stop loss. And if you look at the levels to the top, nice rally, 52, even up to 55, and maybe if we're lucky up to 57. Nice tight stop loss, and I'm sure you can enjoy this one, Fred. And have a nice day, and visit our website www.fransklerk.com for more info.